'Cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my wrap-up for the month of September. So, I didn't read as many books as I thought I was going to read in September, but I read more than I thought I did. If you watched my TBR video, you would know I was going to do a TBR and a wrap-up in the same video, and then I realized that I read more than the 2 or 3 books that I thought I read. Yeah. So, let's just get into it. The first book I read for the month was Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. I was just incredibly bored throughout the entire book. 90% of it was almost a carbon copy of Sword of Glass for me. I almost said Game of Thrones for some reason. But, yeah, it was almost a carbon copy of Sword of Glass. That wasn't a good thing with this book. It was literally like, okay, I've read this story before. Okay, I've read this exact story before. This could have been amazing if it wasn't for that. And, honestly, the character building was kind of bad too. It was pretty horrible. The ending semi-saved this book, but not enough for me to continue the duology. It was definitely a 2-star read up to the end, and the only saving grace for the book was the ending, so probably not going to read the second one. It wasn't worth it to me. Which is why, you know, if you guys saw during my weekday reads videos where I said I was reading that book that there was going to be a review up soon, there won't be, because it was just not review worthy for me at all. I had like almost nothing to say about it other than it was a carbon copy of Sword of Glass. So the second book that I read for the month was The Scorched Trials by James Dashner. Basically, I finished this. I had started it during August. But this dragged a bit for me. However, it was definitely interesting. It left me with a lot of questions, and I'm looking forward to get them answered. Hopefully, they'll be answered in The Death Cure, which I am planning to read this month, so hopefully we can get some information. After that, I read Liam's story, which is The Darkest Minds, number 1.6. I really enjoyed this. While it didn't really add anything to the plot of the trilogy, it was definitely an interesting read. After that, I read Hourglass by Claudia Gray, which is the 3rd book in the Evernight series. I borrowed this from my library, so I do have a physical copy with me, but I forgot that I had it out in the living room, and I never grabbed it. Ugh. But this was very enjoyable. I found it very interesting. The cliffhanger made me excited to read the next book and find out what happens. I do own the rest of the series. Hourglass was the only one I didn't own, and I'm planning to purchase it. I just hadn't yet, so needed to wait until I could get it from my library in order to finish the series. So I will get to the series sometime within these next few months, because once I finish this bookshelf, it's on the next bookshelf, that one back there, and I will work on that shelf next. So after that, I read my absolute favorite read for the month, and probably one of my favorites of 2017 so far. But that was Warcross by Marie Lu. I literally read this within 5 hours of getting the book. I had pre-ordered it, so it arrived in the mail like 6 o'clock the night it came out. My dad was in the ER, for those of you who are wondering, this timeline-wise. That was the day my dad went into the hospital. But, yeah, I sat down and powered this. I was done with it before my mom even got home from the hospital, I think. Or maybe an hour after she got home, but I was, like, literally done with it by 11 o'clock at night. I seriously could not put this book down. Definitely my favorite read of 2017. I literally wrote it in my review for it. And it definitely was, like, hands down my favorite read. There was such amazing writing and plot, and I seriously can't wait for the next book after the ending. The geek in me loved this book. The gamer in me loved this book, and I can't get enough of that book, and that'll definitely be a reread before the next book comes out. That'll definitely be like, I'm gonna read it and be so excited for the next book. So yeah. After that, I read Cinderella Dressed in Ashes, which is the second book in the Grim Diaries series by Cameron Jace. I rated that a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I said, but this was a 5 out of 5, if you can't tell. But yeah, rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, and it was interesting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. While the ending wasn't too predictable, it wasn't really surprising at all. Like, it wasn't predictable, but I wasn't surprised by it. However, it was very well written, and I enjoyed it. After that, I read Melokai in the Heart of the Mountains, Book 1 by Rosalind Kelly, and you guys can find a review on my channel. I just finished this, like, with a few days left in the month. Yeah, literally finished it on the 27th, and my full review can be found on the channel. I will leave a link for it down below, and yeah, I'm not going to really talk about it. I do have a blurb here for it, but go watch my review for it. It helps me out with you guys watching my review, and it's definitely a book that you want to check out. I ended up rating it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads because I tend to rate up if I have a 0.5 rating. And the last book I read for the month was In Time by Alexandra Bracken, which is The Darkest Minds 1.5. That is in the bind-up that I am currently reading. But this was fairly interesting. I liked getting to know a bit of what happened between books 1 and 2, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. But yeah, that is all I read for September. It wasn't as much as I normally read. It's not as much as I wish I had read, but a lot of stuff happened in September that just made it impossible, between Callie's surgery, her getting an infection in her site, then my dad went into the hospital, and I ended up getting the infection in my head that was giving me massive headaches. I'm still really messed up. I am on antibiotics now, and they're messing me up, and so reading has been a chore for me. So didn't get as much read as I would have loved to, but what can you do when you're sick, your dog's sick, your dad is sick, all the things happen. So yeah, hopefully I'll get more read this month, and yeah, so let me know down below if you've read any of these books, or if you are planning to, and yeah, if you enjoyed, please leave a like on the video. Be sure to share this with your friends, it helps me out so much, and be sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye everyone.
'Cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.